G'day, Aussie Bonsai Bloke here, how you going? Today I'm going to be doing a bit of an experiment. I know I said it's a how-to video, but it's a possible how-to video. The beauty is, I do the experiment, it's my tree that's risking, and if it pays off, you can all give it a go. If it doesn't, well, it's my loss. And if you give it a go now, well, then it's both our loss. Otherwise you can just wait a year and I'll give you an update on this one in a year. But anyway, it's how to create, old aged bark on an olive. And to me this is a bit of an experiment. And I'll tell you why I think this will work. Is because I had an olive, well maybe I'll go get it, but I had an olive, and I'll show you, that I did some damage to the smooth bark on, and within a year or so it has developed some callousing and a bit of older bark to it. So I'm going to try it a little bit differently on this one. That one I actually stabbed it with a knife and just twisted it around, just gave it a heap of stab marks all over it to create callousing and, basically just hurting the outside bark of the tree to make it heal and then hopefully create bark. So, and callus material. So I'll go and get that one and I'll show you. Okay, so this used to be super smooth bark, and I've just stabbed it with a knife. Don't mind this melaleuca in the side. I chucked it in there and it's just grown into the pot, and I'll have to deal with that when I repot it. But I stabbed it and it has actually created an old bark look to it. And where I stabbed it a lot less on the other side, it's still quite smooth. Give you a little close up on that one. Okay, so this is where I only gave it a few stab marks. And even there you can see it's quite smooth there with a little bit of callousing and almost like, early stages of making bark where I stabbed it. And I'll just turn it around to where I did it quite severely. Okay, all up there where my little finger is there. I stabbed it quite badly there. And also, this other side of the tree here. That was just done through scoring and stabbing and stuff, and it's created this old bark all over it. So I believe it can work. The thing I don't like about that is you can still see some of the old marks and stab marks, which is why I'm going to try today a bit of sandpaper. Really rough sandpaper. This is 40 grit. I may even try, I've got some 20 grit, so I may even try that if I get desperate. But my plan is just to come along here, because this tree, I'm not too worried about this tree. It's an okay tree. I've actually had this tree for nine years. I've been mucking around with it. One of the first trees I mucked around with. But I'm not too fussed about it. So what I might do is just come in here, just really scuff up this bark, create a bit of bleeding and really scratch it up. So you'll be looking at that, and then hopefully it'll heal and then create some bark to it. I know it's a fair old procedure, pretty traumatic on the tree. I certainly wouldn't like it to happen to me, but we'll see what happens. We'll see if it heals up okay or what happens to it, or whether the whole top of the tree dies off and it shoots out the bottom because I've taken too much of its tissue away. We'll see. I got a feeling that I got a feeling that it's going to heal up okay once I do it. So I'll just bring in close while I mark up one bit of the tree. Just break off a smaller bit so it's easier to work with. And then all I'm going to do, come in here and sort of sand and rough it up everywhere. Okay, so I'm just almost like getting burnt in a fire or something for a person, you know. Creates that sort of cheesy skin look that people have been in bad burns get. I'm hoping it'll do similar to the tree. Like I said, I wouldn't like it to happen to me, but this poor old tree is copping it. Big time. Let's hope it survives okay. So I'm going to do this around the whole tree. Poor old tree. I do feel bad. I actually do feel pretty bad doing this to it. But let's see what happens. So you can see, I'll give you a close-up of that, then I'll do it all, and then I'll show you at the end. And, you know, you may think this is ridiculous, and it could be. Tree could die. Might lose too much fluid through there. So you can see I've really scuffed it up bad. It's got green showing through everywhere. And I'm going to do that around the whole thing. And the interesting thing, I'm also going to try and do a little bit up in this twigging up the top. And see whether you can carry it right out to these fine branches to create bark, right out to the real tips of the little branches. We'll see. It'll be a good experiment anyway. If it doesn't work, well, it doesn't work. So, alright, I'm going to rough up the whole tree and we'll see what happens. Cheers. Good day. Welcome back. Well, as you can see, this poor old tree I've scuffed up pretty bad. Feel a bit bad about it, but it's a bit of an experiment, and if it works I can start doing it to some of the other olives that have got really smooth bark on them and I want to get some rough bark. It's a bit of an experiment for me. Also good for you guys. If it works for me, you'll be able to start doing it to yours, but I wouldn't recommend doing it yet. Just wait and see how this one goes. I'll give you updates over time. You can see these two middle ones here are pretty green, where I've taken all the bark off. And then they start browning up pretty quick after I take the bark off, so it is damaging it pretty badly. Let's hope. It's all sticky now as well. Let's hope it heals. I've gone a fair way up into some of the branching up there and damaged it just to do a bit of an experiment to see how much it can handle. Really roughed it up. And this branch here, I just roughed it up a lot less on this one. You can see the difference. Just to see what the difference will be where I haven't roughed it up as much. Anyway, so that's it for this video. That's all I was going to do. You can see on the back as well, taking a lot of that bark off. And we'll see what happens. No worries. Cheers for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Sorry about torturing this tree, but bit of an experiment. No worries. Cheers for watching, and I'll catch you later. Cheers.